Welcome, welcome, welcome to this month's Deal Clinic Live. So this is May's Deal Clinic Live, and we have got a treat for you. We've got another exciting episode with one of our agents of the month. She's a young entrepreneur who's doing exciting things. Now, before we get into it, it's just a quick reminder that snippets of this will be going out to our social media on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube for shorts, and the full episode will be available on our YouTube channel in about a week's time. For those of you that are live with us, welcome. For those of you that join us on the replay, thank you for watching. If you do have any questions, live attendees, feel free to drop those into the chat box. I will keep my eye on those and address those to our agent of the month during the show. And for those of you that watch on the replay, if you have any questions, feel free to email us at bonnie@sourcinginvestments.co.uk, or you can send your questions in to the admin team at admin@sourcinginvestments.co.uk. If you haven't registered to the platform already, feel free to do so. It is Sourcing Investments UK Limited. And if you want to watch the YouTube channel and all previous shows, that is Sourcing Investments Limited too. So without further delay, I'm going to introduce our agent of the month. Her name is Molly Garioch, and she is a young entrepreneur, as I've already mentioned, working as an agent in Norwich. Now, I'm going to share a quick video bio of Molly and the work that she does. Bear with me, you know my tech abilities. So I'll be sharing that. Just gives a nice little highlight of what Molly actually does.
Hi, I'm Molly and I am a 26-year-old business owner. I'm based in Norwich and I have been self-employed since I was 22. I have grown 3 businesses in that time, all in property, and my speciality is rent-to-rent and serviced accommodation. Most recently, I have become a rent-to-rent mentor, and it is my absolute pleasure to help people transition out of their daily jobs and create a future that they can be proud of. I've grown my businesses mainly from outsourcing operations from day one. This is quite unusual, but I realised early on that I was quite good at property sourcing. So since then, I focused on one particular area and outsourced the rest. This has meant I have been able to scale my businesses much quicker. I have since then become an accidental property sourcer. It was never my intention to be one, but as I became more in the property industry, I learned property sourcing. The best area to invest, in my opinion, is Norwich city centre, and I would say the area to avoid, and I know this from experience, is the North Norfolk coast. My main strategies are to build lasting relationships. Property is the people business, and a relationship is worth much more than any deal. Short lets in Norwich can produce incredible returns, sometimes double, if not triple, market rent. If you want to connect and discuss anything to do with property or just have a bit of a chat, reach out to me on Instagram. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. So with that, it is with absolute pleasure that I would love to introduce you to Molly Garioch. Molly, over to you.
Hi everyone, thank you, Bonnie. I shall share my screen with you guys and run through just a little bit about me, just in case you haven't heard about me, don't know quite what I do. My tech skills are not great either, so bear with me. Here we go. Okay, so I am Molly Garioch. I have a rent-to-rent business. I am a property sourcer, and I also have experience in serviced accommodation management. So, just to give you guys a bit of an overview, a bit of a nutshell of my last 5 years. So, I started a rent-to-rent business when I was 22. And I'm now 26. So, when I was 22, I was working as a mortgage advisor and wasn't loving it, if I'm honest. It was great in terms of learning the creative strategies to raise finance and kind of learn that side of the property world. But in all honesty, it didn't like light me up inside. It was a bit of a drag. And I just thought, I can't do this for the next 40 years. So I didn't have much in savings by any means, but I had a drive and a desire to create a business and make some money. So that's what I did. So I left my job. It was actually on the 14th of October, and I basically just set to work. And I needed to get a rent to rent, more than anything, just to justify my new existence. And this is me in my little cottage that I had at the time. And I used to just sit there and work just ridiculous hours trying to create something out of nothing. And I have to say, I loved every second. So I was working really hard, and the fear of going back to any sort of office job was really enough to get me up out of bed and working on something to do with growing this new rent-to-rent business. Um, so my first rent to rent, it came about a month after that I left my job. This was a picture of it. This was a one-bedroom flat in Norwich city centre. Back then it was 700 a month. You'd be hard pushed to find that now for 700 a month. But nevertheless, that's what it was. So I took this property on, furnished it, kitted it all out. And I had really no help, no mentorship. My mum helped me furnish it, so recruited my mum and literally just went for it. And I've put here about creating your own luck, and it's something that I live by. It's so important to create your own luck. And the reason I got this property was from relationship building. I wanted to be everywhere all at once, building really good connections with property people. And that is how I landed my first deal. So more on that relationship creation. As I said in the video bio, property is all about people and building really, really strong connections with agents, landlords, your power teams, all of that is so important. We can't do this on our own. And even 5 years on, I'm still working with the same landlords, same agents, and the same power team that I had when I first started. It's so, so important. So property sourcing. So I never set out to be a property sourcer. I was a rent-to-renter. But as I kind of became known in this world in Norwich doing property, rent to rent, people would send me deals. And I created my own little criteria, my own niche that I wanted. And I would get sent properties that just weren't quite right for what I was going for. So as I got more and more deals coming to me, I thought, well, I can't let them go to waste. They're still great deals. They're just not for me. So I would pass them on. So I kind of became this accidental sourcer and got compliant, grew my network, and it was actually quite good fun. And going back to the relationship creation, making sure you've got a good relationship with people in the industry, it's really good to be able to take a property on and not say no to it because it keeps that relationship strong. So that's partly why I did this as well. So in the last maybe 3 years, I partnered with a serviced accommodation management company, and they're amazing. They're brilliant, and I partnered with them to make sure that I could support them, really. I was sourcing for them, finding properties in Norwich that were really lucrative. So I partnered with them on a sourcing basis, on a systemizing basis. I was helping them grow, helping them get a bit more established and organized. I was hiring and firing teams within that business, sourced new cleaning teams, and it was great. It's brilliant. I still work with them now, and that particular business has the highest occupancy rate year round in Norwich. So it is, yeah, it's brilliant to have them on board. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. I'll pass back to Bonnie now.
Oh, I love that, Molly. I love that. And I'm sure that property having the highest occupancy rate has really helped generate a raising your profile in the area.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's been brilliant, and I'm all for partnering and collaborating. So yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, well, what I would love to do is let's get to your first deal.
Amazing. Okay, let's I'll minimize that one. Here we go. So deal one. So this is a 7-bed property. If I can move it up, I don't know quite why I can't. Um,
Yeah, the green button. That's it.
Okay, so this property is part of our current short-term management portfolio. So it's a 7-bed HMO. The landlord today has told me it's on for seven, it's on for 450. And he's actually told me today he would accept 425. So if you're interested, the price has now been dropped. So this particular property is ex-local authority. So it's big, it's well built, 7 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, 4 of which are en suite. Comes fully furnished, fully equipped. Um, the net income on this property per month, so this is after the 20% commission that the management business takes, is 3,400 a month. So annual net income is just over 40,800. The occupancy year round is around 85%, which is particularly high. This property does really, really well with contractors. So they've got a big driveway, they can park their big vans, lots of bedrooms, good location. So it does really, really well. The nightly rate on average for this property is around 175. And yeah, I mean it's a brilliant property. The cleaning side of things. So obviously the short-term rental business manages that. But the cleaning in terms of cleaning and linen and towel hire and linen hire, it's all included, and it's £140 per clean, per turnaround. So we tend to get 2 to 3 a month on average. We don't get that many cleans a month due to it being contractors who stay normally many months at a time. So yeah, it's a great property. It's got a nice big garden out the back. So yeah, that is property one. Let me know if you've got questions.
That's amazing. So no questions yet, Molly, but I just wanted to ask, with regards to you talked about the occupancy there and the rent that comes in from that. Just going back to your first property that was in your presentation, you mentioned that it was £700 a month, and you said that that would be hard to come by. What would be the typical rates that you would get now?
The monthly rent for a 1 bed?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So in Norwich, 1 beds are now around 900 a month. So they have gone up. And 1 beds, they're not the best to have in terms of rent to rent, really. I always aim for a 2 bed or more. But back then I didn't realize that.
That's still massive growth, isn't it? That you were able to secure that for 700 and now, rental income for a one bed is 200 a month, which is brilliant. Um, Coming back to your 7 bed here, is there any other scope for this property? Can it be held as a SA or anything else?
Absolutely. So this property, obviously we've been running it as a serviced accommodation for the last probably 5 years. And it's done really well, but it could also be a student let. It's in a student area. Most of the properties, particularly on this road and in this, area, they are student properties. This used to be a student property, but the landlord had a bad experience with the students, which I know is quite common. So he pivoted to the serviced accommodation model. But also because obviously it's 7 bedrooms, it's an HMO, fully licensed, compliant HMO. It could be run as such. It could be rented by the room. And income wise for that, I've got down here, it'd be about 4.5 to 5 grand a month. Obviously, you've got to take off management commission if you go down that route. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely scope here. But yeah, it's 7 bedrooms, so it's flexible.
Okay, amazing. And what kind of demand are we looking for typically? What kind of demand is there in Norwich for, for SAs, for rent to rent, for HMOs?
Yeah, absolutely. So Norwich, there's so much demand, and it's surprise even to me, it's surprising after all these years of doing it. Because Norwich is a relatively small city. It's a little bit out the way. People kind of they only come here if they're driving here. It's not one you pass. You don't tend to drive through Norwich. But nevertheless, you still have a lot of demand. You've got two universities, two big hospitals. You've got Aviva, the big insurance company. You have a lot of building work. Even this year, there's big projects, widening of motorways and things like that. Yeah, it amazes me. We have really high occupancy, and most of the bookings actually now are direct, which is really nice. So we're not relying on OTAs anymore. It is more direct from corporations. But yeah, it's amazing. Obviously, we've got the tourist element. We've got two cathedrals. We've got Norwich Castle. There is a tourist element. We've got the Norfolk Broads. We're not far from the coast. So it kind of covers all bases, which is really what you want from a location for SA purposes.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of attractive elements that could draw the clients in, or should I say, the renters in, the tenants in, or the attraction aspect of it. There's that element there as well. Um, I do have a question that has come in from Selma. She says, "Hi Molly, do you have any tips on how to find rent to rent places?" And because she says there are not a lot of landlords willing to rent like this. Also, there are other areas in the UK that this model really work, or are there, should I say? So let's just address the first question. Do you have any tips on how to find rent to rent places?
Yeah, absolutely. So finding rent to rents, I understand what you mean. A lot of agents will say no, a lot of landlords don't understand it. Tips to find them. Well, as I go back to relationships, it is so important to build those really solid relationships. And the way that I did it when I began was I would go in and see these, go into letting agents, go and see them, get yourself known. Um, I just a lot of the time, especially in property in any industry, it's all online now, and there's no human element. But I just think it's great for some things, but not when you're trying to build a rapport with someone. So even now, I pop into the estate agents that I work with, go and see them, have a chat. So definitely start there. That it is the long game, and but as I say to my clients, I'm also a rent to rent mentor, which we'll come back to. But all my clients that I mentor, I say to them, we're not in this business for 10 minutes. We want this business for many years. It's got to be built on strong foundations. So we have to put the legwork in the beginning, which is finding these property people who are then eventually they are going to send you deals. So initially you have to go out there, find these people face to face, build that rapport and find the deals. But eventually they will come back to you. And I get sent properties all the time and I haven't been out looking for them. So it comes back that way. The other tip on finding rent to rents is look at your immediate network. So, as much as we want to use agents and landlords and find these new people, I also think look at your own network. So if you've got friends or neighbors or anyone like that who have property or they're moving out of a rental property, that's really, really good. For example, one of my rent to rents that I've had for years came from a friend of a friend who was moving out. They were moving in with their partner. This house was about to go on the market. And I got talking to her. It was in a great location, fitted everything that I wanted. It like fitted my criteria. And I managed to get it before it even went to an agent. So definitely use your local immediate network if you can.
That's a great response. And Selma, I can actually vouch for the same thing that Molly has been explaining, that the relationships are absolutely key. I was an agent as well, and I did exactly what Molly did. It was put myself in front of those agents every single day, even if they didn't want to see me. But it actually puts you at the top of their mind so that when a property does come in, you are their first thought, and it does, the phone then rings. So, as
Yeah.
Molly said, it is the long game, isn't it? It really is, Molly, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's so important. And the thing is, once these agents know you, they've met you, they know what you're looking for, but that's really key. Make sure they have no doubt in their mind what it is you're looking for. As soon as that property comes in, it's so easy. I used to be a letting agent myself. So if you've got someone who you know they're going to take that property on because it's perfect for them, you don't have to bother doing loads of viewings. This is from an agent point of view. You don't have to bother doing loads of viewings. You don't have to advertise it. From an agent point of view, it's so easy because you've got someone who's ready for that property. So get in that mindset of the agent and then work out a strategy of how to help them help you.
Amazing, amazing. So, Sam has said thank you. She's asked if there are other areas in the UK that this model works really well in. There are, Selma. There definitely are. It's a case of due diligence and seeing what works best in what location. And sometimes in locations, it can vary from street to street. So it really is a matter of investigating, due diligence, all that juicy stuff that we do as agents. Okay. Perfect. Molly, I think that leads us nicely into your next deal. What have you got here for deal two?
So deal two, um, hopefully you guys can see this. So this is a 5 bedroom property. Again, it's in our portfolio already as the in the short-term rental management portfolio. This property is lovely. It's a 5 bed house and fully furnished north of the city. And it's got a driveway. You can park on the road. Nice big garden. It's beautifully presented. You can flick through these photos on here. You can see it. It's a beautiful property. So this one is off market currently. It's going to be on at 395. So you can pay 395, get the whole furniture, everything ready to go. So 5 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. The occupancy again is really high. It's around 83%. So it does really well. Nightly rates, we're looking at around 150 a night. Um, I've written down the cleaning and turnaround cost, and this is because this is a really great serviced accommodation property. So all the figures I've got are based on you wanting to buy it as a serviced accommodation property. So turnaround and cleaning, so this is including the linen hire, towel hire, it's about 155 a turnaround. Now we find with these bigger properties, your kind of 4 to 7 bed properties, we have fewer turnarounds than a 2 bedroom, for example. So the £155 per turnaround, you're probably looking around two of those a month. So this property makes between 4,500 and 5,000 a month before commissions. So it does do really, really well. If you were interested in this sort of property, but not for serviced accommodation purposes, but more for an HMO, for example, you'd be looking at around 3 grand a month, bearing in mind the area and the size of the property. And if you were thinking about just a buy to let, you'd be looking at around 1,700 a month. But as I said, this property is lovely. I know it really well. It does really well. This property and the other property, it appeals to families, people visiting, friends and family in Norwich, the leisure market, they're wanting to go to the Broads or go to the coast or whatever. But it also mainly does really well with contractors, and contractors are our kind of primary clientele we go after. So yeah, they're both solid investments.
Amazing, amazing. And can you just clarify when you mean contractors, what you would mean for that, so the viewers can understand?
Yeah, so contractors, they can be they're working. It depends how how to put this. They are people who are plumbers, plumbing companies, archaeologists, gas engineers, nurses, all of that sort of thing. They're normally corporations, nationwide corporations, and they have a project in Norwich. And they tend to phone us up and they'll say, we've got 30 guys for 3 months and we need to house them all. So that would be a classic contractor booking.
Amazing. Love that. Love that. Thank you for clarifying. We have a couple of questions, Molly, just with regards to this property. Actually, this question is quite general. Amy's asked, to do a rent to rent, do you need different contracts?
Yes, so rent to rent, you have to have a corporate agreement. Sometimes they're known as management agreements. You do not sign an AST because that is it's just completely wrong. You need a corporate agreement that states that you are allowed to sublet. So each party, you and the landlord, knows what you're doing. So yes, it's a corporate agreement you would need.
Amazing. Thank you for that. And just with regards to what you mentioned about the landlord, it's really important to let the landlord know that they need to check in with their mortgage provider as well, because sometimes rent to rent schemes or corporate lets are not actually allowed. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yes. So it's up to the landlord to check that. Some lenders don't allow anything other than an AST. So it's important that all parties know the score there.
Amazing, amazing. Love that. Okay, perfect. Yeah, Amy has said, yeah, corporate agreement. Yeah, she thought she was right. Okay, brilliant. Perfect. Okay, fantastic. So that's the questions that have come in so far. With regards to the figures, could you just run through those figures again? So on the nightly let, I had here that it's 150 per night and there's an 83% occupancy. So you're looking at a 4.5 to 5,000 turnover per month. Was that right?
Yeah, roughly. The thing is, obviously, it changes,
Yeah.
but we have a solid history with both of these properties. So if you do want more like intricate numbers, I can get them to you. But generally speaking, we get mid-term lets with these sort of properties. So yeah, this one particular, you're looking around 150 a night, 155 pound cleaning bill per turnaround. And you'll generate around 4.5 to 5 grand a month.
Okay, amazing, amazing. And just for clarity, purposes of clarity, Molly, with these properties, because you're actually managing these yourself, correct?
It's part of a company I've partnered with.
Okay.
So there's a guy that I've partnered with who runs this business, and we work very closely together. He's kind of in charge of bookings. I'm more on the sourcing side of things, but I'm in the business. I understand it all.
Okay, amazing, amazing. So just for clarity then, if any investor purchased either of these two properties, they could still utilize that service that is already existing.
Absolutely. Yes. So that business, we offer completely hands-free, hassle-free income for the landlord. We've actually already got future bookings for this particular property in place. So it would just be a case of purchasing it, and we can just continue running the bookings, the guest communications, the cleaners. We just continue on if that's the route you want to go down for both properties.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so good to know. So they wouldn't have to source if they didn't want to, they would have everything ready to go.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, we're here to continue on.
Fabulous. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, so I think I don't we haven't got any more questions coming through, which is fine. That's obviously because you've answered everything or you've relayed everything so clearly. What I want to do is just mention, because you did mention there about your mentoring um business, the thing that you're going into that you do mentor. I did catch that. So do you want to tell the audience a little bit more about the other aspects of your business, because as I mentioned, you are delving into new exciting territories.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got the rent to rent portfolio going. I'm part of this short-term management business. But more recently, I have, alongside all of that, become a rent to rent mentor. So, and honestly, it's my absolute pleasure to help people. I love it. So I help people who want to transition out of their jobs, whatever job that is. They're working 9 to 5, feeling unfulfilled, and they're wanting more income, passive income, just a bit more excitement in their lives, a bit more freedom. Then I'm helping people through bespoke one-to-one rent-to-rent mentoring. And I have an online course, so it's video lessons. It's very to the point. There's no fluff. It's all exactly what you need, because it's basically the course I wish I had when I begun. So it's like learning from all my mistakes. Everything is in this course, with resources, your contract templates and everything you need, plus me to kind of guide you through, make sure you're getting it all right from the offset. So yeah, that's what I'm doing most of at the moment, which I have to say I am loving.
Amazing. I love that. I love that. And just so I'm just going to show, because obviously Molly has become one of our power team members. So Molly, if you could just stop sharing for a second and I'll show the audience how they can find you if they want to be mentored by you as well. Let me just quickly share this screen. Uh, can the can you see that?
Yeah, we can see
Mm,
that.
amazing. So just for the audience, this is Molly's landing page here on our Power Team dashboard. So you will come, it's a Power Team dashboard, you'll see that there. And then if you just scroll down slightly, you have got Molly's page here. We're still in, because the relationship is brand new. Obviously, Molly's been with us for a while now. So Molly has actually been an agent of ours for a while. She's actually a compliance fault agent. And because of the way Molly works, we're really happy to partner with Molly on her mentorship program. So you would click this button, that would actually take you to a generated page where you can contact Molly or actually invest in the course that she's just described. For now, we've put her link there to her dashboard, where you can also interact with Molly and ask any questions. But I just wanted to show that because we are so proud to have you on board, Molly, as part of our power team. Just with the way you're so conscientious, you've got some congratulations in the chat box. Amy said, "Well done, this is amazing." And Fessa said, "Molly, it's amazing." She's part of your mentorship as well. How lovely is that? That's amazing. So, if you do want to get in touch with Molly, then you can do so by navigating to her dashboard via the platform. I'm just going to add in her link again for you, so that you can find her there. But also, Molly, you have you are a you. Oh my gosh, the coffee wore off. You are available on social media, aren't you, as well? Different outlets on Instagram, I believe, and was it Facebook as well?
Absolutely. If I just share my screen,
Yes, please do.
I'll just pop back to Oh, you can see how terrible my screen is. Where is it? Here we are. So you can see it's organized chaos at the front end. Uh, Right, here we go. So this is kind of back to the last part of the presentation I did really. But so again, rent to rent mentorship, one-to-one bespoke, everything you need. And it's so sweet to have Fez on here. He's actually one of my clients. So it's so nice to have him on. So yeah, you can see testimonials, more about that on my page. But I wanted to give you an opportunity just to work with me, reach out to me. If you're looking for rent to rent mentorship or management on serviced accommodation, or you wanted to collaborate or partner in some way in a property or media platform, then reach out to me. I know I said that my property course is very to the point. As you can see here, I love this. It's very much what I'm like. So here is where you can connect with me. So this is my Instagram handle, my email, my phone number, website. If you're interested in some free training, I have put together a masterclass on rent to rent, which kind of like deep dives into how to actually do it and get a business off the ground. So there's a link there to that as well. So hopefully you can reach out any platform there.
Amazing. I love that. I love that. So just while you're just sharing that screen, Molly, because you did mention that you mentored and the course has everything that you needed when you first started out that you didn't actually get, because we do learn through mistakes. So what would you say to an agent that is actually starting out in this industry?
What in terms of like actually getting started, how to do it?
Yeah. Yeah, and everything that because we go to training sessions and we go to courses, but they don't always tell us everything that's involved, as you know.
Yes.
Um, so what would you say to an agent starting out?
The most important thing is to build your business. I always say this to my clients, we have to get our strong foundations in place first. There is definitely an order in which to do this. And it's very tempting to just go and find these properties. And I call it being a busy fool. We're going out, we're looking, and we're getting rejected, and it's just no good. We have to build a business in the right order. And unfortunately, the reality is we have to do the boring stuff first. But once the boring stuff is done, then it's done once. You only do it once, and then you get to the exciting stuff. So, but yeah, the other thing to really say when you first start out in this space, you will get rejection. Landlords won't like it, or won't know what you're talking about. Same with agents. There's a big misconception that agents think they won't get their commission if they go down this route with you instead of a normal tenant, which of course is just not the case. So whenever people or agents don't understand something, they make it up themselves, and they kind of lean out from it instead of lean in and get curious and like want to help you. Naturally, human nature is, I don't understand it, I'm not doing it. So make sure whoever it is you're speaking to completely understands what it is you're offering. Um, and yeah, build those relationships and just be resilient. You'll have to be resilient in time anyway with your business when it does get off the ground. So just practice that resilience when you're being rejected, and every no you get, you're closer to a yes. So just keep going.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's really important. And the other thing, if you can just stop sharing your screen, that'd be amazing, Molly. I just want to see you properly on the. There we go. That's better. Um, and you are actually one of our compliance vault clients. What? Because you mentioned it's so important to get the business set up. How important is compliance really when you're setting up your business?
Oh, it's so important. It's literally the first step. With rent to rent, currently you don't need compliance as such. Obviously with deal sourcing you do, but deal sourcing it's non-negotiable. You have to be compliant, and yeah, it's one of those when you start that sort of business, it's one of those boring foundations you have to have, but you can then grow.
Yeah, and it is boring, and as you said, it's the boring stuff, but it's so important. I used to have a compliance consultant, and he was like, it's not the sexy stuff, but it keeps your business protected. And it's so true. It's so true. Okay, I think that is everything. I just really want to thank you for being our agent of the month, now linking arms with you on our power team. It's such a delight to have you with us. And wish you all the best in everything that you do, and continual progression. The evolution of your business has been amazing to hear about it, to watch you grow, and to see the developments of that. So with that, I'm going to actually thank all of our agents. They've said, like, you've had such good feedback in the chat box as well, Molly, just with regards to congratulations and everything else. So I really want to congratulate you on the development of you and your business. With that, we're going to sign out, not before though saying a thank you to our live viewers who have been Amy, Fez, Carl, Salim, Selma, and Vasca. We thank you for joining us live here. And to all our viewers that watch us on the replay, we thank you as well. And to Molly, once again, thank you so much. And
Thank
we
you
will
so
see you
much.
soon. Pleasure. See you all on the next show for Deal Clinic Live. Bye now.